Hey everybody, today we're taking a look at another incredible puzzle. Here, Black just forced a queen trade, thinking that they can easily win this endgame due to their king being much closer to the action. But Black is in for a big surprise when they realize that White can actually draw this. Let me show you how. At first glance, it looks like a race, and Black is clearly going to win, because after they take the pawn, White can't force opposition, and it seems like Black can promote very easily. Now, why is opposition so important? Well, it's because it's the decisive factor in pawn and king endgames, and knowing it is going to save you a lot in your games. Now, back to our current example. I said this is a win for Black, but only if Black knows this concept. If they rush and play pawn to g5, this position is no longer a win for Black, and with the correct play, White can draw it. Now remember this rule. Opposition only works if the pawn is behind the king. It doesn't work if the king and the pawn are side by side. The defending side must always stay in front of the pawn, so White can play either g3 or g1. Pawn to g4, king to g2, and if Black moves the king to h4, White mirrors the move. You need to keep your king in front of the pawn, so the only drawing move is king to g1. King to f3 from Black, king to f1. King to g4, again, put the king in front of the pawn, and sooner or later this will end in a stalemate. Now, if Black knew about opposition, they would not push the pawn first, but instead would move their king to the fourth rank, let's say to g4. Even if White tries to keep the king in front of the pawn, it's futile. Black would move to g3, and now they can push their pawn. After king to f1, Black plays h2, securing the promotion square, and promotes. Okay, so that was a quick little lesson about opposition, which we're going to use later on in the video. Now, here I said that White is able to draw this, but how? The critical move happens in this very position, right after king to f5. If you want to challenge yourself, pause the video right here and let me know in the comments what your next move would be. The brilliant move that saves your game is the insane pawn to h6. Black's only option is to take the pawn, because if they decide to push, their king is not going to be able to stop White from promoting. And now, since we're dealing with a rook pawn, it's much easier to force a draw, because the enemy only has one adjacent file to help the pawn. Now, we see that our king can actually arrive first on the promotion square, and now it's Black who can't kick us out no matter what they try. King to h3, you just shuffle between g1 and h1. Pawn push, you do the same. We can see that Black can't force us out no matter what. Okay, but Black just might try a trick at the beginning. Instead of moving to f5, they just might move to f4, trying to shoulder us. What are we going to do here? Should we still apply the same technique? Well, yes, because if we move to e2, trying to reach h1, Black will go after our pawn, and we won't be able to force them to take our pawn with theirs, and we're going to end up in the first example where Black is winning. But instead, if we force Black's pawn to take us, even if Black's king manages to arrive first on h2, securing that promotion square, White now has what's called a lateral opposition. Black's king is stuck on the h-file, and no matter what they do, White's king will mirror their moves and never ever let them escape from that file. Phew, what a puzzle. Be honest with me. Did you think at first that White could actually save his game here? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.